Hello, you're welcome to north3schools.org. My name is Isaac Owusu. I'm your website tutor and I'll be taking you through the website tutorials and I'll be getting along with you from the scratch to the finish of all what we are supposed to learn in website development so that everything is going to get easy for you. If today is the first time you are meeting such a program, you should not be very worried because I will take you through the very basics, and as time progresses you get yourself along and you will be very soon abreast with the program. And you're welcome once again. And before one should be able to start programming in web development, at least one should be able to have a basic typing skill, and that is going to get you going. Sometimes you'll be doing quite plenty code which you should be quite faster. And before you start with website development, in this introductory tutorial I would want you to know that there are various programming languages, an uncountable number of them, millions or billions of programming languages in the world. So you as a web developer should choose a kind of program to suit what kind of code or what kind of website you would want to develop. For example, Facebook.com came about by the combination of certain programming languages, and I can tell you for a fact that HTML, which is hypertext markup language, is one of the languages used in developing such kind of a website. And then there are so much into that website in which you should be learning very advanced programming like PHP, JavaScript, MySQL, Python, a whole lot of programming language. So according to what kind of website you would want to develop and what kind of features and functionality you would want a website to possess or have, then it comes down to the kind of programming language you would choose to in developing the kind of website. So when you are learning a website development, choosing a kind of program you'd want to be learning, then you choose it wisely as according to what kind of potential website you want to be making. Now I will start introducing some of the programming languages to you, and as time progresses you know the differences in how each and every one of them is connected together and how they are useful in our website. The basic of all the programming languages I will be talking about tonight is hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language is HTML. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. This language is the basic language every programmer at least must know about, and it's the backbone of the web development or the web interface, the backbone of the website development. And every other programming language depends on hypertext markup language for their own markups. And so it's the core. And every other thing is based on HTML. Now, everything at all you see on a website, for example, images, for example, videos, audios, text, everything comes about by HTML. So HTML is a basic language which draws up the structure of the web page, what is supposed to be the content of the web page, what the page is always going to contain. It comes about by HTML. There is also another language called CSS, which is also known as the Cascading Style Sheet. The Cascading Style Sheet is also, as the name implies, is used for styling the HTML. So HTML will get us the content for the website. For example, if you want to have a text which has a heading, and the heading is a very broad heading, and you can also have paragraphs, and if you want to have a background for the paragraphs, you will be using CSS to give background colors to the entire body of our web page, or give a background color to a paragraph or anything at all. Position of web elements. When you want an image to come from the left to the right side, it is CSS that is going to command the HTML web content to come or to display in a particular way. So when we talk about beauty, aesthetic, when you talk about making a colorful website, CSS is very potential, and it plays a very vital role in how the appearance of a website should be like. There is also another language called JavaScript. And JavaScript is also a very advanced programming language, and it possesses a kind of various features that is very powerful. Now, one feature of JavaScript is it's used sometimes making accordion. Now, accordion widget or side widget is also used for making animations. It's also used for styling, making beautiful content of websites. In fact, it makes a very beautiful and interactive website. And JavaScript also have a powerful feature to grab hold some of the CSS features and also use the style of CSS in JavaScript. So JavaScript is a kind of, and JavaScript also is a potential language, which, for example, if you have a PHP on another web page, or a page that has a program to process your web content, PHP can also be used for posting form data. And JavaScript can also be used for posting form data to a database programming language for processing. And JavaScript is a very powerful tool. And JavaScript, we have Node.js, which is the Node JavaScript, and we also have the AngularJS, and we have jQuery. And jQuery is a JavaScript library, and is also a very powerful tool should you want to research and find out more about JavaScript. So the next programming language I'll be talking about is PHP and MySQL. It may seem to you like it is one language, PHP and MySQL, but they are two separate programming languages. But the fact that it works together hand in hand most often in programming, that is the reason why it is often written or referred to as PHP and MySQL. So PHP alone stands for Hypertext Preprocessor. So PHP is the abbreviation of Hypertext Preprocessor, and is a very, very powerful programming language. And for form data processing, PHP I will recommend for you is very powerful tool, and it is also a tool which is very powerful for form validations. For example, user visits a site which requires his name, password, email address, and after this user has entered his credentials, is name, password, username, email address, whatsoever. PHP is the best program I would recommend to you. After this user has submitted by clicking the submit button, PHP assesses the kind of input or the kind of information the user wants to submit to our database to see, is it a valid input, is it a valid information. If not, PHP is going to prompt that user that, hey, this is not the required input we want you to give us. Write a valid input, otherwise you will not be allowed to submit or to have access. So PHP is very powerful for that feature. And another function of PHP is also used for form security, for protecting our site from malicious codes and malicious programmers. For example, you have a hacker who wants to make an SQL injection and hack into your site by the back door. PHP also has the ability to secure that. So PHP works hand in hand with MySQL. MySQL is a kind of SQL programming language, is a type of SQL programming language, and the SQL means structured query language. So you have MySQL as a structured query language, and SQL is particularly a database programming language. MySQL stores every information that is passed on from the user during the time when he was filling the input on our website, his required input. For example, the name, first name, last name, residence. After he has submitted, PHP says, okay, fine, he has given me a valid information. Then, since PHP has processed all these things, it will also function as a messenger. It carries all the informations, bring it to MySQL, and tell MySQL that this is what I have gotten, keep it for me. I will be coming back and forth so many times to check back to see if you still have that information available. So PHP works hand in hand with MySQL. After he has processed every information, whether vital or not, it brings it to MySQL. Say, MySQL, keep it for me. So MySQL stores our form data. And now, this is all that we are going to talk about particularly, but I will be talking about HTML, CSS, PHP, and MySQL. You are warmly welcome, and this is all about the introduction for today's lesson. I would want you to go on your free time, research what is it actually about hypertext markup language. After you have progressed to know quite a little bit about these things, you can go down to know what CSS is also about, cascading style sheet. And I wouldn't be talking about JavaScript, it's out of our tutorial, but it's also good to know that JavaScript is a kind of programming language. I'll be talking also about PHP in this tutorial and MySQL. Thank you for joining me in this class.